Chapter 50. Over the years, Lee Cherie had had some questions about the story herself. Mainly, she wondered why the handsome prince would want to marry a lying little amphibophobe who couldn't keep a promise. Lee Cherie had thought that frogs became princes through the transformative magic of osculation. Why did this prince escape the frog spell only after being splattered against a wall? Was he a masochist, maybe? In which case, it was small wonder that he was attracted to such an ill-tempered snip, and they probably did live together happily ever after, perhaps with leather accessories. In truth, the story that had never made a lot of sense to Lee Cherie, and she resented the brothers Grimm for portraying a princess in such an unflattering light. It was bad enough being dragon bait. For all her reservations about the tale, however, it had never occurred to her to puzzle over the fate of the golden ball. True, the story initially made a big deal about the ball, only never to mention it again, but it was the characters who were important. The ball was just a prop, a toy, an object. Maybe the princess put aside the golden ball until her own children were old enough to play with it. Or maybe once she had a prince to play with, she simply abandoned her beloved toy. She was certainly capable of that. And it got packed away in an attic, thrown out with the garbage, stolen by a chambermaid, or donated to Goodwill Industries. In any case, Lee Cherie had never been curious about it, and the psychiatrists and mythologists who'd analyzed the story, they claimed the spring, so deep its bottom could not be seen, symbolized the unconscious mind. The frog, of course, talk about typecasting, symbolized the penis, ugly and loathsome to a girl child, but to an emergent woman, a thing of some beauty that could contribute to her happiness and fulfillment. Those analysts were sure that the golden ball represented the moon, but they never asked what became of it either. It was Bernard who'd raised the question, and in the empty days that followed their jailhouse meeting, Lee Cherie wondered why it seemed so important to him. The CIA wondered also. The CIA suspected that the story was a coded message, packed with information about revolutionary activity in Max and Tilly's former kingdom. The CIA submitted its tape of the story, and Bernard's apparently urgent response to its experts in the Home Office. Attorney Nina Jablonski lamented the fact that all of the stories Lee Cherie might have told, she had chosen one about a royal family in which a king and queen ended up happily ever after. Because of the CIA monitors, Jablonski refused to ask Bernard why he was interested in the fate of the golden ball, although Lee Cherie requested that she do so. "We're dropping the ball," Jablonski said flatly. As a result of the fracas with the guards, Bernard's visitor privileges were revoked. Moreover, accounts of the incident were leaked to the press. Whereas the media had been politely interested in the beautiful young princess who wished to enlist deposed royalty in the service of environmentalism, they were savagely intrigued by a beautiful young princess who was involved politically, romantically, or both with a notorious bomb-throwing outlaw. If the Furstenberg Barcelona monogrammed telephone had, the previous week, frequently tinkled, it now exhausted itself in a monstrous marathon of jangling, although it sometimes could not be heard above the knockings at the door. Were it not for the blackberries, reporters would have camped in the yard. Max was in a funk due to the constant interruption of his TV sportscasts, and both Tilly and her new Chihuahua developed nervous diarrhea. Chuck was going bananas, trying to intercept all the phone calls and to photograph with a miniature camera the strangers, mostly newsmen, who rapped at the door. Julietta kept the house running fairly smoothly, everything considered, but she had begun to toot cocaine so prodigiously that often her central nervous system was buzzing in pace with the phone. Oddly enough, Lee Cherie was the calmest member of the household. In part, this could be attributed to the love that enveloped her like a silk-lined fever, but it was also due to the fact that on Wednesday, 2 weeks late, out of breath, embarrassed but making no excuses, flustered but offering no explanations, her menses showed up. It neither called first nor knocked, but stepped through her door, sticky, mortal, its head as red as her own, remained for 5 days, then disappeared again, leaving behind an exhibition of cheerfully painted tampons and a sustained series of sighs of relief that could have fluttered the flags of every used car lot in Los Angeles. In celebration of the proven effectiveness of Shilink, Lee Cherie sent out for Chinese food. Chuck snapped a whole roll of film of the Oriental boy who delivered it. Someday, when conditions are right, I'll have Bernard's baby, thought Lee Cherie, chewing a mouthful of fried rice. And it can have a golden ball to play with, or anything else that Daddy gives it, except dynamite. But for now, her energy was devoted to pestering Nina Jablonski about schemes to see Bernard again before his trial. Jablonski didn't have the heart to tell her that there wasn't going to be any trial.